We frequently get this advice that we must seek wisdom from the words of our elders. But with all due respect, half of them actually lived a life of quite desperation. Because the wisdom is not going to come from the wrinkles, it is going to come from the results that you have generated in your life. So, why are you going to listen to a person who actually spent 40 years failing? Because at the end of the day, if their advice lands you in the same kind of dead end job, in the same kind of purposeless marriage, and in the same kind of the powerless life that they have lived, what kind of advice are you exactly seeking from their words? That's the question that you need to ask yourself. Because not every old man is a wise man. Some old men are just the survivors of their bad decisions. So, I'm not saying to disrespect your elders. You owe them respect, but you don't owe them your destiny. That is yours to own, yours to build, and yours to defend. And that's exactly is going to be the topic of today's video. Now, today's video is going to be very short, but it is actually divided into three parts. In the first part, we are going to see that how to separate the good advice from the bad advice. There are going to be 5 categories of the advices that you're going to get on the daily basis, and then you will have to reignite your analytical approach, which is actually dead because of the efforts of the school system and the education system that we all have been through. And you will have to reignite it, you will have to resurrect it and use it in order to make your advice or make your system which is going to analyze the advice better. In the second part, we are going to see that what kind of enemies, psychological as well as the external, who are going to come across, who you're going to come across, and then you will have to deal with them. How are you going to deal with them? Because once you know who your enemy is, then it becomes really, really easy for you to deal with them. And in the third part, we are going to see that what's the way out. Now, before starting to analyze the first section of this video, in which we are going to decide that how are you going to analyze the good advice and then going to separate it from the bad advice, we must start it with analyzing this quotation which has been given to us by Napoleon Hill. He says that opinions are the cheapest commodities on earth. Now, this is something which is really crucial. Now, everything or anything which is in an abundant supply, you must always remember that this thing does not hold a lot of value. And people, when somebody is giving you something abundantly, and that thing is actually in their possession, that means that this thing does not have a lot of value. Now, how are you going to perceive the value of an opinion which is going to come from another person? Let's look at these 5 categories and decide for yourself. The first kind of advice is going to come from those people who have no idea what they're talking about. They don't know anything about it, but they have so much firmness and conviction because they're so good with their words that they're going to convince you on the validity, the credibility, and the integrity of their opinion. Now, these are the most dangerous people because they don't know what's going to happen. They don't have any idea about the thing that you're trying to pursue. But even then, they give you some opinion and somehow you just believe in their opinion. Now, this is something which is very dangerous. And these are the people who are the most dangerous of all these 5 categories. The second kind of people are going to be the ones who are going to say that they know someone who have done the same thing that you're trying to pursue, and that kind of results were generated by them. So let's say that you told someone that you're going to prepare for the civil services examination. So they're going to tell you that, yeah, I have a friend who had a daughter who was trying to prepare for the same kind of examination, and she actually became psychotic as a result of putting so much pressure on her mind. So these are the people who know someone who tried to do the same thing that you were trying to do, and then they're going to convince you according to their own opinion by telling you the results that were acquired by that particular party so that you can adjust your approach according to their opinions. The third ones are going to be those who have actually done what you're trying to do. Now, these are the people who are very attractive because you are always trying to seek the advice of those people who have actually done it. But they are not really well aware of the ups and downs of the processes. They have done it by themselves, but they don't know how to tell you or how to guide you to do the same. So there comes the fourth category. They are those people who have done what you're trying to do and they have actually taught other people to do the same thing. These are the people that you should be taking your advice from. And if you really want to take it to another level, that's the 5th group. And these are those people who have done what you want to do. They have taught it to other people and they have helped other people to get successful multiple times by the approach that they are preaching, by the approach that they are telling other people. Now, you have to separate good advice from the bad advice by following these 5 categories. You can use it as your litmus test. The first category is those people who have no idea what they're talking about. 2, who know someone who did the same thing. Third, who have actually done it. Fourth, who have done it and taught it to other people. And the fifth, who have taught it, who have done it, they have taught it to other people, and they have helped them to become successful multiple times. Now, what you need to understand is that once we know that how are we going to fight this war, now we should know that who are our enemies. And the most amount of enemies are always going to come from our families. So the first one is always going to come in the form of family guilt. And it is going to enter your door in the form of an uncle that you have. He's going to visit your house, and over a cup of tea, he's just going to throw this thought that his son is actually a chartered accountant now. He's traveling all over the world. He's traveling all over the country. And now his life is in total ease, in total comfort. And that is going to be enough to send your father into an inferiority complex, who is really concerned about your future. And now he's going to tell you that the only way to have a bright future is to become a chartered accountant. Now, you may have talent for something else, but now your father has perceived that just because of the social pressure and just because of the social compliance, all the other colleagues of his are making their offspring a chartered accountant. So now this thing of becoming a CA is going to get a lot of value in the mind of your parents, and now they're forcing you to do the same thing. You may have talent for something else, but your path is going to be so uncertain that they don't want you to lose or to risk your life wasting your time pursuing something which has an uncertain future, and it actually pales into insignificance when the social status that you're going to get as a result of pursuing your dream is compared with the social status that you can get as a result of becoming a chartered accountant. So these people are the real culprits. They create family guilt. They create social pressure in order to convince you that that's what you should do. The second one is going to be those people who are going to tell you that be realistic. These are the people, these are the chameleons, these are the people who are going to mimic your ideas, imitate your ideas, but the moment you try to apply them, they're going to tell you that these ideas really look good on paper, but they are not practical. Just throw these people out of your life. They are like the cancer. Their thoughts spread into your unconscious, and they become your habit before you even know it, before they just become incurable. That's the moment when you realize that they have actually occupied your moment. Just throw these stupid people out of your life who are always telling you that these things are not practical. Have they done it? Do they know someone who have done it? Or have they taught someone how to do it? Once they have done it, they have not done anything, and they don't have any idea. So these are stupid people, and they don't deserve a spot in your life. Just throw them out from your life. The third one are going to be specifically the elders, who are going to tell you that back in our day, things used to function in that way, and that was good. Trust me. As you level up or as you move forward, the luxuries that we are getting right now, if you ask someone that if he wants to live his life just 10 years back, if he wants to go in the past 10 years back and he wants to live his life, nobody is willing to go back. Until and unless somebody is suffering from some incurable disease, or somebody is suffering from a very bad mental or biological suffering, that's another issue. I wish them well. But any normal person, he doesn't want to go back, because the luxuries that you're accustomed to, are you willing to go back 100 years ago? And do you really want to live in the 20th century when all the war was going on and when all these bad things were happening to the human beings? Nobody's willing to do that. So when somebody's telling you that back in my days, things used to happen in that way, that means their life is not working really smoothly and really well in the present. So you should not take their advice, because they're not the people who are telling you how to move forward. They're telling you that how things were really happening really well in the past. So these are the people that you should avoid. The third one are going to be the blind obedience test. And they are those people who are always trying to subjugate you into a mechanical line, because they want you to surrender to the social will. They want you to surrender to the compliance. They want you to surrender to each and everything which is happening around you, because they don't want you to move ahead on the pace that you're trying to move on. And the last one are going to be those people who are going to tell you that they tried to do the same, but they were not able to do it. So don't try it. They're your enemies. Now, in the last section of this video, we are going to see that what's the way out. The first way which is going to be out is that you must keep this thing clear in your mind, that you should respect other people. But in order to respect their opinion, you should see that either their advice is valuable or not valuable. And that value is only going to come to their words when they have a lot of exposure, or when they have a lot of information at their disposal whenever they're trying to tell you something. Even if they don't have a lot of exposure and experience, at least they should have a lot of critical analysis at their disposal. They should have the ability to see the picture from both ends, and then they should give you some kind of sensible approach towards life. At least they have done their work before giving you their advice. Number two, you must question each and everything. You don't have to tell other people that you're questioning these things in your mind, but you should ask yourself why this person wants me to believe in this thing, why this person is trying to convince me into doing something which is going to benefit the group at the expense of my own well-being, why that person wants me to obey these social standards that make no sense. You can do anything in the external world, but you should keep your critical mind alive. Keep questioning each and everything. That is the only recipe to freedom and not getting enslaved. And the last one, you're not going to argue with the results. Any kind of general who has lost the battle cannot justify his failure. He has lost. So, whenever you're trying to do something, always keep this thing in mind. Follow the results and don't follow bad advice. Till the next time, peace.